During my first year of college, I was introduced to the Tor browser by my new roommate Ricky. Those of you know who have been around the internet for long enough know Tor is a browser engine used to help you access the dark web, to which we frequently did. For a barely 20-year-old dude experiencing his first moment of living away from home, being handed a way to access nearly whatever I wanted just from the press of a few keys felt like being handed absolute freedom. While we mostly just used it for accessing pirated games and films, or maybe visiting the band website, there were times I found myself on the more twisted side of it all. I've honestly seen some pretty messed up things that I really didn't want or need to see other than to satisfy my morbid curiosity of if it would be possible to even reach those places. While I mostly regret these deeper dives into the dark web, one such dive might have very well saved my life. It was about 2 a.m. on a Friday during the end of my third year of college, and Ricky had been spending the night at a cousin's house, leaving me to myself. I had been scrolling through the web, going through various shady movie sites and running games I didn't technically own, when I got a strange pop-up ad. One-time auction, limited items, one of a kind, get now or never again, don't miss out on these items. It read in a flashing red and green Cosmic Sands font. Now I've gone to a few of these dark web auctions, even participated in a few out of impulse spending on things that triggered something in my dumb college dude brain. This ranged from things like overly engraved gold handguns you would see Tony Montana strapping, to pounds of the finest weed grown in the purest soils of Jamaica, just to give me that little adrenaline of rush of, dude, what if I actually get it? Granted, I only ever bid 20, maybe $20 tops, knowing actually winning any of it would probably land me behind bars. I wasn't exactly the sharpest tool in the shed. I would have been busted within minutes of receiving the package. This one would be different, however. I decided I'd check out the auction and click the link before browsing through the bids. At first it wasn't anything serious, mostly firearms and drugs, typical black web catalog. As I moved down the list, the items got more extreme, much more extreme. The list started with simple low caliber handguns you could get at Walmart in some states, but quickly changed to sniper rifles and LMGs fit for military elites, till I was eventually being offered small nuclear explosives claiming to have enough power to level small towns to ash and brimstone. Super strong pot and funny mushrooms quickly turned to advertisements for pounds of color me cocaine, to 10-pound boxes of fentanyl pills. Shadiest of all were what I assumed were experimental drugs, black and yellow sludge-like substances held in test tubes that didn't even have real names, just things like XT1 and B8 plus RVV1. Judging by the descriptions, these things fry your brain, considering the people citing it explain the effects to mostly incoherent, barely understandable sentences implying they've been indulging on their own supply. I remember one going along the lines of fun green bubbles when super cool. If eaten you, it's like green, blue, green bubbles. They fly up, eat up, fly down with the green bubbles. I might be paraphrasing on that, but trust me, it wouldn't have made any more sense than if I did get spot on it. Super strong pot and funny mushrooms quickly turned to advertisements for pounds of Colombian cocaine, to 10 pounds of boxes of fentanyl pills. Shadiest of all were what I assumed were experimental drugs, black and yellow sludge-like substances held in test tubes that didn't even have real names, just things like XT1 and BA plus RVV1. Judging by the descriptions, these things fry your brain, considering the people selling it explain the effects to mostly incoherent, barely understandable sentences, implying they've been indulging on their own supply. I remember one going along the lines of fun green bubbles when super cool. If eaten you, it's like green, blue, green bubbles. They fly up, eat up, fly down with the green bubbles. I might be paraphrasing on that, but trust me, it wouldn't have made any more sense than if I did get it spot on. Eventually, I reached what I took to be the Hitman and Murder catalog. Poison brews of ricin and cyanide claiming to have zero sense of taste, soundproof sneakers, weapon silencers, fake glasses, passports. People were even selling codes that were apparently instructions on how to get to areas in your location where bodies are most often hidden and never found. There were other codes that were labeled as how-to instructional tapes made by professionals on how to get away with various types of murder to even murders. If you didn't want to do the work yourself, you could buy the phone number to a top-class hitman near you who will make sure your job is done effectively. Things only got worse when I scrolled to the next page to see photos of people, some even children, with their names listed underneath. They were advertising human trafficking and giving each of their product a small biography of sorts, as if they were stat cards. It listed everything from addresses to allergies, strengths, weaknesses, even down to the daily routine. Now, I've seen kinds of black room type things and was well aware of how sick people can be on the dark web, but seeing it never got any less unsettling, especially reading some of the things these bidders wanted to do with the product once they got their hands on them. This unsettlement quickly turned to unimaginable agonizing fear as I scrolled down to see my own picture, one taken on my first day of college. I began to panic as I read off my card. Whoever these people were, they knew my name, age, race, height, weight, even down to my small birthmark behind my ear. Not only that, but they seemed to have known my whole life story from birth. My panic only grew wider as I saw there were already 4 bettors, the highest of which bidding almost 15 grand. The sickest part was the bidders left comments. Things like, he'd fit well in my collection, I can't wait to have his body, I wish to taste his skin, along with a slew of horrible deranged they wanted to do with me that I really don't want to repeat. I fell back and began to hyperventilate. I felt my heart was gonna give out and my brain was gonna explode, thinking of all the horrible things that may happen to be at the hands of these sick, twisted people who look to take ownership of my life. Most of the rest of the night was a blur. I remember bidding 20k off the bat to top the list, then periodically bidding I think under the 3 what felt like every 30 minutes till I reached almost 40k. After that I must have blacked out because the next thing I remember was waking up curled into a ball under my desk in a puddle of cold sweat. It was still dark out, so the flashy lights coming from my monitor were all too noticeable. I could feel myself shaking in fear as I slowly crawled out from under the desk before slowly looking at my screen and seeing in large red Comic Sans, "Congratulations, you win. Please list where you'd like to send your prize. We will send an agent to deliver your package." I felt an overwhelming amount of relief wash over my body seeing I had just bought myself. Sure, I ended up putting myself in near debt before I've even finished school, but I'm alive and free. Knowing those vital blanks wouldn't be able to live out their fantasies was enough for me to forget about any possible money problems. Think I even started laughing like a madman for a second as I answered, "Leave them be. I bought them the freedom so they don't suffer," hoping that'd be enough explanation. Thankfully, it was as I was answered rather quickly with another message. "Understood. Your product will be removed from all auctions as marked as sold. Thank you for purchase, Evan." Reading that card made me nearly collapse as if all the stress and tension built up straight from my body, only to quickly return as I read the message. They knew I'd just been on myself. They were still watching. The next couple of months were a living hell of paranoia and anxiety. I tried to explain what I could to Ricky and he did his best to help calm me down, but it was fruitless. Eventually though, after enough time, I was able to move on from it. More so, I think my mind forced me to block it out. But it's all come back now thanks to an email I had just received from Ricky almost 8 years after that night. "Please help, I don't have the money to go up against the highest bidder. Respond as quickly as possible asking him to send me his PayPal or something." That was 2 days ago. I haven't gotten a response. I think he lost the auction.